Just into NBC News, the Justice Department is currently investigating the New York Attorney General's office. The focus is the successful $300 million civil fraud case against Donald Trump and his businesses, as well as the case New York AG Letitia James brought against the NRA. Now, James emerged as one of Trump's most outspoken political rivals after he left office in 2021. So let's get more on all this from NBC's David Rohde, and back with us, former New York Assistant Attorney General Adam Pollack. David, refresh our memory of these cases specifically. Explain what the DOJ is looking at here.
So I just want to shout out first our colleagues, Tom Winter and Ryan Riley and John Dietz, who broke the story for us, and I work closely with them. So this is a long-running legal battle that very much frustrated President Trump. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, basically accused him of inflating or decreasing the value of his assets to cheat on his taxes, to make more money on certain kind of businesses. And that case was successful. A civil court judge in New York City ordered Trump to pay a fine of $300 million roughly. And that deeply frustrated President Trump. There was a separate case that has been brought up about the NRA. That was Letitia James suing the NRA, saying that it had violated New York state law by making, misleading statements about its practices. That lawsuit was less successful for James. The fact that the federal attorney based in Albany, New York, is now investigating Letitia James herself is fits a pattern of the recent cases that have come out. Pam Bondi has just also, we don't know where it is, but has a separate grand jury looking into the claims of President Obama engaging in a treasonous conspiracy against Trump that relates to Tulsi Gabbard's statements as the intelligence director. So multiple cases, but clearly the Trump administration fighting back legally with the Justice Department as its tool against its enemies.
Adam, let's just take this by itself. Is it unusual for the DOJ to open an investigation into a state case, or a couple of them that have already been litigated and resulted in jury verdicts?
This is unbelievably unusual. This is effectively unprecedented, and it's telling that this investigation about two cases that happened here in Manhattan is not being handled by the SDNY, the premier office for federal investigation. It's being handled in Albany, where there's a prosecutor chosen as the appointed interim U.S. attorney who hasn't gotten Senate consent. In fact, after his 120 days as interim U.S. attorney, the judges there in Albany rejected him, prohibited him from staying on, and yet he's still there. He has no prosecutorial experience, and yet he's driving this unbelievably politicized investigation.
David, do we know what potential allegations there are here, and what are the potential outcomes?
So the investigation, and I want help on this, please, is for denial of rights, I believe, is the charge. This is something that's been floated by legal conservatives who back Trump as a case that could be brought against people who essentially improperly, that Letitia James denied Donald Trump his civil rights, as I understand it, by bringing this civil suit that she won and getting the $300 million damage. And this has been brought up as a charge that can be used in other cases against prosecutors who brought cases against Trump. But this is the first time, at least I know of, where it's been brought. There's an actual investigation looking at that specific charge.
What do you make of that, Adam?
Look, there could be legitimate situations where the government seeks to prosecute law enforcement for a true denial of civil rights, for a truly improper investigation. But these are not improper investigations. To the contrary, here you have judges both in the state AG's civil fraud case against Trump and the case against the NRA. You have judges that repeatedly affirm the validity of these civil cases, judges resulting in verdicts of liability. There's clearly a check on the system that is in place and has found these to be valid cases. They can go up on appeal, the Trump case, the Trump civil liability case that resulted in the $300 million plus verdict, plus interest, a total of $450 million. It's up on appeal, and the appellate court is taking it very seriously. That is the way you look at whether liability is proper. A criminal investigation by the NDNY, the Northern District of New York, is unprecedented and improper political retribution.
So this looks like weaponization of the Justice Department to you?
It looks like complete weaponization, and you have to ask, would DA Alvin Bragg be next on the block?
We shall see. Thank you very much for your analysis, Adam Pollock. David Rode, thank you for bringing us the reporting.